Today on Real Pilates, we're going to talk about the bottom of your abdominal layers, the floor of your abs that are deep inside of you, known as pelvic floor. The pelvic floor muscles. So you may wonder sometimes, how come guys have an easier time keeping their abs flat and tight and girls have a harder time? There's a reason for that. So our pelvis on girls is usually less high and wider, right? Because we have to birth babies. Men have pelvises and jeans that are usually more narrow, but the pelvic bone is taller. So that narrow, taller helps give them more stability and more balance than a girl, believe it or not. But here's the killer. The pelvic floor of a girl, woman, has 3 openings, right? One for number 1, one for number 2, and the other one for having babies. Men only have 2 openings. So that pelvic floor that has 1 less opening, yes, it gives them greater stability. Also, all muscle fiber on both men and women is the same. What differs is the hormone level. So the testosterone, the 2 types of estrogen and progesterone. Depending on what sex you are, you're going to have different levels of hormone, and the muscle fibers are going to become more bundled and stronger or more elastic and less strong, depending on your hormonal content. It is important that that pelvic floor muscle have the right amount of tenacity, strength, yet flexibility. If your pelvic floor muscle is too tight, it affects the knees. If your pelvic floor muscle is too loose, it affects the low back, the low stomach, and eventually, yes, the knees. Pelvic floor is one of the first movement muscles that we use in our Pilates classic C curve. Classic C curve is where you contract your ab without using the breathing and without using the butt, the hamstring, thighs, inner or front of thighs. A pure C curve is just squeezing the stomach and seeing how much you can tilt your pelvis. We can and we do add then your hamstrings, your ass, your arms, your legs, and other things when we're doing functional sequential Pilates exercises and movements. But just that pelvic tilt, you can practice seated with your hands on your lap and just squeeze the abs and try to see if you sink a little lower and you get just the pure belly button line. That strengthens pelvic floor, that helps release low back pressure, and it's a lot of fun. This is Pilates Master Nikki, and I'll see you real soon for another layer of real Pilates.